Well, good day, everyone. Hope you have a Merry Christmas out there. Roger Goodell is wishing you a Merry Christmas with not one, but two games that we're going to talk about here on part one of the Week 17 preview. Now, it's weird because it's only three games. We're going to talk about Christmas Day and then the Thursday night game. Got to have football every day on your plate until you push away from the table. But Chiefs Steelers is going to get people talking. It's going to get people watching, even though the Christmas Day is like an NBA day. Sports fans will be consuming this one because Kansas City side against the Steelers defense. This one's in Pittsburgh. Let's get it on. Let's start with the Chiefs side first, Sigmund.
Mhm.
And Pat Mahomes. This seems like a Isaiah Pacheco just running him out of 20 times, dash a Kareem Hunt type of game to try to soften up what the Steelers do defensively. But it's Kansas City and it's Pat Mahomes, so we know anything could be afoot on Christmas Day.
Yeah, and as a quick aside, we got two games Wednesday, one game Thursday, three games on Saturday, and hopefully you've got some other things preoccupying you, family, loved ones, some time off of work, some time for self-care even. And Cece, I know you've often said, we don't have a life, you do. I kind of have a life around Christmas, but football guys, this is where we're really going to come through for you because we are going to keep you up on the injury situations. We are going to keep you up on everything happening, but you are going to need to set your lineups and maybe check in before the Saturday games. The good news is on Sunday, you'll have 10 games in the books to know about upside versus floor. Is this going to be an upside game? I don't know. Both of these games cease 4 days rest. We already know Thursday night football is usually a crapshoot. When you add in Christmas football and you add in these teams already played on a short week for a Saturday game, Kansas City can clinch the number one seed with a win. So they're going to be playing all out. We're going to be watching the Xavier Worthy situation with his ankle. If he's not playing, Hollywood Brown looks good. But I don't know if we're going to go with either running back. This looks like entrenches a committee. I don't even know which one's a better play. Steelers, if you're going to take on part of their defense, you want to take on that secondary. But Travis Kelce's not getting enough targets to be an automatic play. Chigoziem Okonkwo, if you have him and you're thinking, am I really going to play him over Travis Kelce? Yeah, you're probably playing him over Travis Kelce at this point. Is what's the upside here? Patrick Mahomes, is he quarterback one? He was last week. That ankle, no problem at all. A rushing touchdown for him. Steelers, certainly suspect defense at this point, kind of reeling right now. So yeah, it came around. Hey, Patrick Mahomes might not have gotten you to the final, but you might use him in the final on Christmas Day.
Yeah, what's funny is I think Bills fans did it. The internet is undefeated, Bloom, where they
Yeah.
put together all of Pat Mahomes' like December ankle injuries. So, hey, I'm like, oh my God, he played through the ankle injury.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Russell Wilson, is he going to get George Pickens back? Because it
Right.
doesn't look as good without George Pickens.
Right. Without George Pickens, we're back in the bad old days of the last 5 years of the Steelers offense, not really threatening anybody. Because of that, hey, if Pickens isn't playing, maybe even if Pickens is playing, you might want to go with the Kansas City defense, even though this game is in Pittsburgh. But yeah, Pickens is at least a what the heck flex, probably a boom bust wide receiver 3 flex if he's out there. I think the Steelers' plan all along has been, hey, they knew they could lose. They could go through a rocky stretch of the season without Pickens, but if they can win their last two games, they still win the division. Not exactly an easy order when it's Kansas City and Cincinnati. If you're going to play a running back, I guess it's Jaylen Warren. When the Steelers are behind, Jaylen Warren is on the field more. And Jaylen Warren, honestly, is more effective than Najee Harris. Maybe the right answer is neither running back. Pat Fryermuth, a little bit of fantasy shine on him when Pickens was out, and he ran out of steam last week. The Steelers know if they lose this game, they're going to be going on the road to wild card. But hey, at this point with the Steelers, I think it's more important to get Pickens healthy and have their full arsenal going into the playoffs, whether it's at Houston or playing at home against Denver or the Chargers. We know they can't win without Pickens.
Yes, let's talk Baltimore and Houston double dipping on Christmas Day. Baltimore side first with on the road against Houston. Perfect recipe is just shove Derrick Henry down your throat.
Yeah, and this is a weird game for both of these teams because I believe even if Baltimore loses this game, if the Steelers lose to Cincinnati and the Steelers beat Kansas City, if the Steelers lose to Cincinnati and Baltimore beats Cleveland, I think Baltimore still wins the division. There's a lot of different tiebreaker stuff here. But this game is not really crucial for either one of these teams, especially if Pittsburgh loses. Baltimore knows they're in the driver's seat. But you are going to be playing Lamar Jackson. You are going to be playing Derrick Henry. You are going to be playing Zay Flowers. You are going to be playing Mark Andrews. If you have to dig deep, maybe Isaiah Likely. Although Houston's defense may still play with some pride here. Rashad Bateman, all he does is catch touchdowns. You got to be in a deep league for that. But yeah, this Baltimore offense, I think we can take a moment out to say in the last, at least we're going to do a preview. We're going to talk about some week 18 football, but Baltimore offense has come together as we'd hoped. Baltimore team has come together as we hoped. And maybe this could be the year. We're talking about Allen. We're talking about the Patrick Mahomes dynasty. Maybe this could be the year Lamar Jackson breaks through. No matter what they do on Christmas Day, hopefully there'll be some presents under the tree for the Lamar Jackson fans, which include both of us, Cease.
Yeah, there we go. Houston side. I
Yeah.
know. I know. You got to remember the Tank Dell injury.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, wow. And now moving forward without him, like this is part of the, in football practice, they'd call out Riverside,
Right.
just move them over and keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna have to move him over and keep going without Tank Dell. This one's at home. It's against Baltimore. Everyone thinks Houston is an easy out in the playoffs because they probably are, but they
Yeah.
could show some fight in this one.
Well, and it's funny how this works out because if they beat Baltimore, that increases the chances that they'll play Baltimore in the
Right.
wild card round. And I see there's a side discussion here about, okay, you saw Tank Dell go down, but can a team really play 3/4 speed or play like let's go out and play the game, but play not to get hurt? And that's an even better way to get hurt. You can't do that.
Yep.
So I think you're going to see. I mean, the Texans. I don't think you're going to see them treat this like a Week 18 game where they rest the starters after the first quarter or second quarter or something like that. Week 3, the preseason, or Week 2, whatever week that is these days. So fantasy plays wise, you got Joe Mixon. Now I can see some scenarios where maybe you aren't going to play Joe Mixon. He's slowed down. This offense is kind of flaccid at this point in the running game. Baltimore, the tougher part of their defense is their run defense. So if someone said, I got Jerome Ford and I got Joe Mixon, I'm not sure what to do. I'm not really sure what you should do either. There are some scenarios here where Joe Mixon could be on your bench after being one of the main reasons you got this far. Nico Collins has to be in your lineup. Dalton Schultz comes on. I guess that's a tight end that we could have added to the waiver wire show. Dalton Schultz with Tank Dell out. But at the same time, outside of Nico Collins, do you really want to trust this Texans defense? This Texans offense against a Ravens defense that is coming on. So I guess, Cease, if we're going to try to put a silver lining on this for Texans fans, 2 years ago, I told you, yeah, week 17 would be kind of a bummer because you just lost your second round pick wide receiver, who is one of the up and coming receivers, to pair with your fourth round wide receiver, who's one of the best 5-6 receivers in the league right now. And your number 2 overall pick quarterback was a disappointment because he wasn't one of the best quarterbacks in the league like he was in his rookie year. And you're going to host a playoff game, but you might not win that playoff game. I mean, 2 years ago, you would have said, okay, what did you take? Can I have some of it? Well, we all are on it because that's where the Texans are, where we're saying, yeah, they might be one and done in the playoffs again. That's disappointing. That means this franchise has really rallied out of the corner after Deshaun Watson drugged them down to the bottom of the ocean.
Well, in a week where you have Christmas Day games, Saturday games, Sunday games, fantasy championships on the line, of course you have a Thursday night game. Of course, NFL. Don't forget about us. Forget NFL over here. Yay. They're so annoying. They're like the drones in New Jersey now. Like, okay, we get it, buddy. We get it. Just tell us what you are. Take us to your leaders. We'll take you to our leaders. Whatever. I don't care. Seattle and Chicago. Speaking of, I don't care. But fantasy GMs will care, especially with Geno Smith and Jackson Smith and Jigba and any of combination of other Seattle skill position players. Let's talk about the Thursday game. I'll stop complaining. But let's talk about how Seattle guys
Right.
can help you win your championship.
Yeah, congratulations. You get a trip to Chicago in December. I could go to the Christkindl market. It's pretty cool. Yeah, get it back with our old world Christmas traditions there. Seattle, to stay alive, needs to win this game, but they've lost control of their own destiny with the loss to the Vikings. And like you said, Geno Smith came alive. Actually, they were able to protect him. So we're looking at Geno Smith as a potential streamer, Jackson Smith and Jigba in. Zach Charbonnet, the symbolic starter start, and that's it. Truly symbolic, as it is still Kenneth Walker's backfield. He's in your lineup. DK Metcalf gets a touchdown. They still didn't feed him targets. That's Jackson Smith and Jigba's job. But Seattle against a morose, sleepwalking, hibernating Bears defense, your Seahawks should come through. And the good news here is that they're playing before the Rams, who play on Saturday, because if the Rams beat the Cardinals, I believe that clinches the division. So if there's a reason for this Thursday game, it's so that you can still use your Seattle Seahawks in your Week 17 lineup.
Yes, Chicago Bears. How many of those are you using in your Week 17 lineup?
I got to go with Keenan Allen, I guess. I mean, the ceiling has been so high. DJ Moore has a high floor, so he's at least in your lineup as a wide receiver 3 flex. Rome Odunze, a what the heck flex. We saw him. And Caleb Williams, again, it took until garbage time. And so it's, again, can the Seattle offense run up the score enough that you'll get to see some prevent defense looks? Otherwise, if this is a nip and tuck close game, maybe the Bears offense is not very excited. Then you have DeAndre Swift, who did not come through for us in Week 16. If you survived that, then you may go back to him. But again, if we're talking about Joe Mixon is an automatic play in Week 17, then DeAndre Swift certainly isn't an automatic play in Week 17. And, Thursday, they have to spend some time with your family. Don't worry about this. Again, football guys will have you covered. Injury situations. Otherwise, as you trend towards these things, set your lineup on Christmas Eve as you're looking out the window, waiting for Santa's sleigh, and hopefully you'll find a championship under the tree.
That would be fantastic. And we will have a rather robust preview show, part 2, coming up on Thursday. So, everyone, we are here for you. He is
And
Sigmund
no couch
Bloom.
this week. No couch this week. No couch next week. No couch until draft season in March. But thanks, everybody. It's always been an amazing ride. More new faces, more new friends. That's what we like to do here. We're all friends here on the Audible.
Yeah, more people needing to get on the couch.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. I blame the drones. Anyway, let's wrap this thing up. He is Sigmund Bloom. You follow him like the drones are following him on social networking at Sigmund Bloom. I'm at Cecil Lammey. The show is at the Audible. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Stay tuned, and would you please stay frosty.